time. All right. Does anybody know what this week is?
Super Bowl week.
It is. Not that I don't know how many people care, but it's where we are in this world. Got my team Rotary on here. So I will start the meeting. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let's see. Do we have any strange faces among us other than our normal group of strange faces?
Well, Will Sethi has joined the Witness Protection Program.
Oh, there he is. And Jack will be back, right? Jack Mallinson. Morning, Tom. I see Diane's incognito. So this morning, Chris Cameron was going to do the craft talk, but instead of craft talk, we're going to do something a little different today. So I'm going to do the inspiration, and I think this is attributable to Martin Luther King, but I can't remember. I just wrote it down because I thought it was really relevant to Rotary. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I thought that was a pertinent message for us as we struggle through our Zoom meetings. So Dan, oh, hi, Leanna. There's Leanna, woohoo. Dan and Jack is back. So Dan Erickson, do you want to give us some highlights from our board meeting, from our riveting board meeting? After you unmute yourself.
Details. So the board met last Wednesday, the last Wednesday of the month at 7:15. Anybody's welcome to attend. The next one will be at the end of February. So we approved the minutes and the treasurer's report, and we approved paying our bills, which was all good. Let's see. We talked about our fundraiser, which is coming up. It's the Giro Vignetti bike tour, and the three co-chairs, Andy Esquivel, Kent England, and myself, were approved along with a budget. If the budget comes through, we'll have a projected income of about $7,000. Along membership, we are working with the Chamber of Commerce membership list and going through and crossing out the people that are already in Rotary or that live in Toledo, Ohio. And we want to target people that we think ought to be good Rotarians and should join our club. And then we'll split up some of the names, and club members will reach out and invite them to come to a meeting and potentially join our group. Let's see. Oh, Jade Beckwith is working on a pollinator project. You've heard about that. And last but not least, we're in the process of interviewing a few folks, about their Rotary involvement to go ahead and post on our club website. So if you get contacted by Lance to do that, it's pretty short and sweet. And anyway, that'll help us on our social media platform. And that was about it. What'd I miss?
I think you got it covered. I know you mentioned the fact that we're moving the dues.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is correct. Okay, since we're not using our money for the Taman Park or Costo's catering, the board decided to send the $40 a month member dues over to the local Sunrise Rotary Club of Healdsburg Foundation. And that will accrue in there, and we'll use it in the future for whatever worthy causes are brought to the board and approved.
And we want to make sure members are aware of this because it's through your generosity every month that we are able to collect these funds. And we're hoping we may be able to use some of them to increase our scholarship budget. So we will be discussing that further. And I want to let Larry Orr know that. I want to see a big old fat smile on that face. Woo! All right. So thank you, Dan. And Jay, is Jay on the call? He wanted 5 minutes, so when he comes on, I will give him 5 minutes. Andy wanted to spend a couple minutes on the Giro Vignette bike tour. Take it away, Andy. Go
Thank
for
you,
the class.
Thank you, President Nancy. Yes, so I'm gonna give you this update with my best Italian. Hopefully I don't offend anybody, but I believe the proper pronunciation is Giro Vignette, right? It's gonna be great.
You gotta do that. Yeah, you gotta talk with your hands.
Giro Vignette, and I think that means really fun. I'm not sure. Somebody has to translate it for me. But right now, we're working on a virtual event. We're targeting July 24th. Registration is going to go active March 15th. So we have a lot of work to do between now and March 15th. One of the things that we need to work on is sponsorships. The goal that we set this year was pretty modest, recognizing that it is a virtual event. And when it's a virtual event, you don't have a big gathering of people. So marketing is a little bit harder because there isn't a big gathering. But our modest targets are very reachable. But we're looking for sponsorships of $500 or $1,000 or any other amount a local business or individual would like to sponsor us with. So if you're a writer or if you know a business in the area that you think would be interested, let one of the chairs know, Dan, Kent, or me, and we'll follow up with them. But it's going to be fun. And that's it. Thank you.
Giro Vignette is like riding through the vineyards, like cycle, Giro, right?
I was close.
That was very good.
Yeah.
Andy, I am so grateful that you have stepped up, you and Dan, to help guide this bike tour. It's a huge load off my mind, and you guys already have whipped it into shape. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. And Kent had done a lot of work beforehand, and Kent did a lot of work for our last meeting. So yeah, Kent is playing a big role.
That's great. Yeah, he's got a lot of the last year knowledge for sure. Okay, Jay Beckwith, do you have a minute? You were going to give us some direction on the pollinator project.
Good morning. Everybody got a note in the mail? Yes? From me? Mm-hmm. That's the general outline. I'm here to answer questions, and I will stay after the meeting to move it forward. All I'd have to say this morning is, what is our intention? Are we interested in engaging the community and learning about the local ecology? Are we interested in doing good and having fun? The problem I'm having is that this is really a complex issue. And it's great for me because I love complex issues and complex learning opportunities. But it doesn't match with our typical kinds of projects, which are pretty much slam dunk. We're handing out grocery bags or we're handing out goodie bags and that kind of stuff. So it's fine if we want to keep it really simple, Unfortunately, when it comes to an ecology, it doesn't work real well. For example, the monarchs project is really, really difficult because it's not just that they need milkweed, but they need other plants. And there's only a few of them left. So we could spend a lot of time on it and have much outcome, not have much outcome. So I need some guidance from you. Do I have to keep it really, really simple, or are we willing to engage the community in something that will really get them knowledgeable about the local ecology? So we can talk about that at the end of the meeting if you'd like.
Okay. So at that point then, Jay, we can set up a plan on what to do right away. Like deciding what we can do. We will say, okay, we're going to package seeds or something like that, right?
Exactly. We can break it out into small chunks, but understanding it is not easy. You have to dig into it. Pollinators respond to colors. Different plants come in during the season. You can't just plant one thing and forget it because you don't know what you're getting and you don't know what you've done. So if we're going to do it right, we got to dig into it at least a little bit. And there's really good stuff out there, very engaging videos and good curriculum. It's just the amount of resources is incredible. So it's really doable, but it's not simple.
All right, so we will hang out after the meeting, whoever is interested in figuring out next steps.
Sure. It doesn't take everybody, just a few people getting engaged. I have to say, Andy is my star pupil. He's really getting into it. So I need more Andys. Don't we all?
I know that Edward would be here. He had to take his son down to the city this morning. So, because I know he's also very much behind it. He's his own little environmental bubble there out there on West Side Road.
Yeah.
All right. Yay, Jay. Thank you. Next, Lance, do you want to talk for a minute about the website videos?
Sure, absolutely.
About that? Okay.
So at the last meeting, when we were talking about redesign for the website and creating a new homepage, one of the key ideas we had was to try to create something that would be more engaging to a first-time visitor. Like, why does the website exist? Largely, it's there as a recruiting device for people who are looking into Healdsburg Rotary. And I think it was Jay who came up with the idea of maybe having almost recreating the Zoom experience, having a bunch of different small videos of club members talking about what they're doing. So we've actually started recording a few of those. So I've done Nancy and I've done Jay, and want to reach out to anyone else who would be willing to participate in this. I've got a short list of questions. Why did you join Rotary? What is your favorite activity? Why are we the Jesters? Talk about our motto, having fun doing good, things like that. Producing little 30-second videos that we'll then use to populate some sort of a carousel on the website. So when someone comes in, we get that personal touch. It's not just dry information. People will get to see the enthusiastic members of the club talking about why we are an awesome club. There's certainly some people that I will be reaching out and voluntolding to do these, but anyone else who's interested in helping out with this project, it's pretty straightforward. I use the same software I use for doing my video interviews. Does a double-headed recording so we get good quality. I just ask you the questions, you answer them using your computer's camera, and then I extract the good 30-second answers to each one. Lots of takes possible, right? No stress. You can do it as many times as you want. Easy process. So working on that to improve our internet presence.
And Lance is, I feel like I need to do mine over because I was a disaster, but it will be helpful to get the questions in advance so you can give a little thought. We kind of learned that in my moment. So
we also need to get you a faster computer, because even with local recording, your voice and your face didn't sync up that well.
Well, that's on my mind. So, thank you for that. That pushes me a little closer. Great. And so please, everybody, try to help us with that, because it could be a lot of fun just to see all of your faces on there. And do you want to just mention what happened with choices, Lance?
Yeah, so I finally did hear back from the principal of the junior high school. I've been trying to reach out to him for a couple of months, and finally resorted to carbon copying Chris Vandenhoevel to get a result. And he shut us down with absolutely, no subtlety, just nope, not interested at all. So I'm not sure if that's a terminal. We are never going to work with the junior high school again, which is unfortunate, and we'll need to look for other opportunities to contribute to the youth in Healdsburg. But we all know that they're super busy, and this remote learning has been difficult for them. But unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to be doing choices this year, and probably not until we're back in-person classes, maybe in the fall.
And I'm going to try to reach out to Chris. I might just go over to the high school or the office one day and just get a sense of what he knows, because the response from the principal was really kind of rude, and it was shocking. So I felt bad about that.
Yeah, you'd think you could be nicer at saying no to someone who's offering to do something for you for free.
Yeah.
That principal has a little bit of a rep.
Mm.
We were going to ask about that, if anybody knew him or if it was just us. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think talking to the superintendent, just making sure we're all good going forward when things have gotten back to normal, if that's ever going to happen.
And maybe we could, if that's the way it is, then we maybe have no choice but to accept it. But then I think we ought to focus on, okay, as soon as in-person classes are being held and so forth, would you like us to re-up this program and maybe have that the focus, as opposed to, if they don't want to add us to their Zoom sessions or whatever, then we probably let them do that, but concentrate on, okay, next year we would certainly like to restart this program. I can't imagine them not wanting us to do that.
Yeah, and that will be my focus. I don't want to push something that's already a problem. They're struggling right now just to teach kids. So
yeah, and that's what I said in my response to him was, we understand you're really busy, and we'd love to do it next year. And, are you open to doing it when we're back in person? I have not heard back from him, so I'm not sure if I will.
Thank you for your perseverance, Lance. And then the other thing is, I know we were chit-chatting about the closed caption option, but to the whole club, if you missed that in the beginning of our meeting, you can, there's a closed caption button at the bottom of your screen. If you're having trouble hearing, you can now read it. This is a test run for this meeting to see if the club wants to go ahead and do this going forward. It's $20 a month to have this feature. So if you have trouble hearing the meetings, check it out and let us know how that is working for you. Does that sum it up, Lance?
Yeah, exactly. We're on a 7-day trial, so I've only got it for this week. But if this is useful to you, if particularly the people who have difficulty hearing in the meeting, please do let Nancy and I know that this was useful, and that it would be a good use of the club funds to continue using this, or let me know whether it was not effective for you, and so that we don't need to waste our money.
It would be nice to have it in one of the Zoom interviews you're doing.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I'm not doing it on Zoom, and I'm not sure it captures it, but I actually do have a software for subtitling videos that I use for other things. So I could do that.
Okay. I wanted to, I have a little bit of a twist to today's meeting before we welcome our guest speaker. But before I move to that quickly, Bob Mosby, your family has a little bit of a celebration coming up this Sunday. Is that correct? Besides celebrating Super Bowl? You're on mute, Bob. Can we unmute Bob?
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't let you unmute other people anymore.
Oh, no.
Yes, my wife's birthday is the same day as the Super Bowl, February the 7th. So, but we're both on a diet, so I don't think either one of us are going to get any birthday cake this year. We overdid it over Christmas, so that's enough.
All right, well, we will eat birthday cake for you on Sunday. How's that?
Okay.
Jeannie,
All right. We'll have a virtual birthday cake. Yes. All right.
tell her happy birthday for us.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I keep waiting for Bert to show up because I'm going to nail him for his and Jen's anniversary, which was on December 30th. So I'm going to keep this up every week till he wakes up and joins us. All right, so in the meantime, I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to have a Super Bowl trivia game. There we go. Oops. All right. Let me get down here. Someday I will get this figured out. Okay, here we go. This is the first question, or this is the answer to the question. Can anybody tell me what the, there are some prizes involved in this. So can you tell me what the question is based on this photograph?
Who are the two teams playing?
Yes. And who are they? Does anybody really know?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, Dan Erickson. Good job, Dan. All right. Question number 2. Okay, what is the significance of this stat? 25 to 43.
The age of the quarterbacks.
Yes, Diane in for the win.
Patrick Mahomes.
He's so cute.
He's a doll.
Here, look at, I think I've got a picture of them. Oops, there he is. And there's Brady at age 43. So anyway, this should be fun just for that alone to have this matchup of these two guys. I know Mahomes won last year, didn't he?
He did.
Yep.
Okay, number 2. What teams have won the most Super Bowls?
New England Patriots.
Who?
Patriots.
Patriots. Yeah.
Who's saying that?
Andy.
Andy. All right, you're half right. There are two teams that have each won.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
God, good job. God, I'm impressed. All right, number 3. Which player has the most Super Bowl rings? And now this is a little bit of a cheat with the picture here. And who holds the record?
Joe Montana.
Tom Brady.
Brady.
Yep, Andy Brady.
Hmm.
Brady has
6.
Yeah, he has 6 rings, and he holds the record for the most passing yards. All right, so here's the next one. Oh, okay, that's my dad. Isn't he cute?
Wow.
He is with the LA Rams cheerleaders. This was back in, I don't know, the the 70s or 80s. So he's quite proud of that picture. Anyway, what was the lowest scoring Super Bowl in history? Any guesses? I kind of have a hint on this photograph.
Rams?
Yep. Who said that?
I did. Ted.
Yeah, I can't see. Okay. The Rams, yes, it was the New England Patriots defeated the LA Rams 13-3.
The question should have been, why is this man smiling?
Yeah. He was surrounded by, he used to call them youngies. My dad was quite inappropriate. So, but I still loved him. Adored my dad. Okay, he's a lot of fun. Okay, so next question is, what was the highest score ever by one team in a Super Bowl game?
55.
Oh, who said that?
Tom.
Tom, excellent. That is correct. Super Bowl 24, 55 points by the 49ers. And all right, I threw this one in as kind of a bonus question. I know everybody's so smart. Translate XXIV.
24.
24.
Yep, Ted got that one. I just, I don't even know if they're teaching Roman numerals anymore, because this Super Bowl is LV, which is 55, right? Okay, what was the first wild card team to win the Super Bowl?
Los Angeles Raiders.
Who said that, Ted? Dan?
Dan.
Dan Erickson, yes. But the poor Raiders, they're a little confused because they were Oakland, LA, Oakland, and now Las Vegas. Oh, Bart, is that, no. What's Dad's name? Simpson?
Bart.
Art Simpson.
Oh, that's a kid.
That's Homer.
Homer.
Simpsons.
Yeah, I haven't watched that since my kids grew up and moved away. Okay, number 7. What is the question to the answer 1.3 billion?
Largest TV audience ever.
No. Any other guesses?
Advertising spent on the Super Bowl.
Nope. The little picture is kind of a sad clue.
Oh, chicken wings.
Yes.
Tons of chicken wings.
Yes. Who just said that? Was that Tom?
Yeah, myself and Dr. Pyle.
Tom and Doug. Oh, that's so funny. Yes. Chicken wings. 1.3 billion chicken wings are consumed on Super Bowl Sunday. Okay, next question is, the answer is $1.3 billion. Does anybody know what the question is?
Tom Brady's salary?
No. Like
Money spent on parties.
Close, Doug, close. I'll give that to you. It's what Americans spend on beer on Super Bowl Sunday.
Wow.
Wow.
I know. Who knew? Hopefully they're buying a Racer 5. Okay, so then we have kind of a different one here. What are these entertainers' claims to fame?
Super Bowl entertainment?
Sort of. Yes. So was that Ted?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
National anthem.
Correct. Who was the national anthem?
Tom.
Tom, yeah.
No, I mean, which of these did the national anthem?
Which of them?
Yeah.
Well, Katy Perry did, right in the top right. I'm assuming they all did. I just don't know.
Well, actually, this one's kind of a hard question. Charlie Pride was in 1974 was the first solo singer to perform the national anthem.
Very cool.
Carol Channing was the first singer to perform at a Super Bowl halftime show. That was in 1970. And I think the Super Bowl was only 3 years old at that point. And Katy Perry, she was the artist that had the highest rated Super Bowl halftime show. So just, to give us a little perspective on the entertainment value. So thank you for that. Okay, and my sort of close to last one. The answer is $12. So what would the question be?
First Super Bowl tickets.
Yes,
First game.
$12. Can you believe it?
Wow.
And this one here is $1,200. It's a little bit of that was Super Bowl. I can't even read that. XLV. So that'd be
46.
And this is a picture of the $12 ticket in 1967. So a little bit of inflation. I actually went to the Super Bowl at the Coliseum, probably 71. So it wasn't too bad then. It was the price of a lift ticket up at Mammoth Lakes. So let me stop sharing. Thank you, everybody, for participating. I'm really impressed. You guys are, so I'm going to tally up the results, and I have a bottle of Racer 5, a bottle of Pliny the Elder. The younger was unavailable. Within 4 minutes, I tried. And Russian River's STS, which is their airport brand. This is a Pilsner. So I will be in touch very soon to get the winners their prizes. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed finding those pictures. I see Erin has joined us. Couple more bits of business, and then I will introduce Erin, who is our Rotary International Peace Fellow. Welcome, Erin. Super Bowl Sunday silliness. Let me get to my notes here. Wanted to mention a couple things. The district is getting ready to do its annual district training on April 16th and 17th via Zoom. So I will be getting more information out to the members if you are interested in joining. There's a lot of information about how to run a club, how to be a good Rotarian, how to be a host family for exchange students, and all kinds of really great information. So I encourage everybody to join if they are able. I also want to mention a couple notes from the recent SCARC meeting. The club that, I think it's one of the Santa Rosa clubs, they are making desks for kids right now to help them learning from home. They're just simple desks. So there are just some fun things going on out there. The Gualala Rotary Club has installed Wi-Fi on school buses because their kids have to commute sometimes 45 minutes to get to school. So they put the Wi-Fi on the buses to help them get into their studies while they're on the bus. Interesting, the Santa Rosa East and West Rotary clubs are merging. So Santa Rosa clubs are looking like they want to tighten up, maybe join forces and strengthen. On March 10th, our Rotary District is sponsoring the North Coast Business Ethics Award. And Jim O'Grady from the Rotary Club of Petaluma Valley, he will be coming to our meeting on February 17th to talk more about this. I think they're wanting people to help nominate businesses who have high ethical standards. I happen to know one of them who's within our midst. And also the SBDC here in Sonoma County is providing business financial relief during COVID. So if any businesses that you know are struggling, they need money, the SBDC might be able to help them. So there was interesting information that came from that SPARK meeting. I just wanted to let you all know that. We did that. So you know what I forgot to do in my music? Do you recognize that?
All right.
Anybody recognize that tune? That is the NFL theme song, played on piano to teach kids how to play the NFL theme on piano. Anyway, just, all right. Come on, we gotta have fun, guys. We gotta have fun. All right, and with that, I am going to introduce Erin Thomas, who is joining us from Belgium. She's so impressive. Erin is a Rotary Peace Fellow. And I remember years ago when Will was our president, I'm pretty sure you brought a Peace Fellow to our club as a guest speaker. And I just thought it was really an impressive part of Rotary International. It was so memorable. I mean, that's been 10 or 11 years that I remembered that. So I'm so excited Erin can join us because this is Peace and Conflict Resolution Month, not revolution, resolution. Erin has her BA in International Affairs from the George Washington University. She has her MA in Peace and Conflict Resolution from the Universidad del Salvador in Buenos Aires in Argentina, where she was a member of the Rotary Peace Fellow inaugural class. Recently served as the Director of Strategic Partnerships for the Every Woman Treaty. Erin co-founded the Rotarian Action Group for Peace and served as its Executive Director for 3 years. And she helped create the Rotary Peace Fellow Alumni Association last year. So I am very excited that you are here today, Erin, and appreciate your willingness to join us all the way from Belgium. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your speakers on mute and give Erin a sunrise welcome.
Good morning, California, right? It's 4:42 here in Ghent, Belgium. I've been here for just over a month. So when Nancy and I first started talking about this, I was located in Portland, Oregon, and I would have been having a cup of coffee with you. But instead, I'm going to pivot to a glass of Belgian beer. Although your beers, their rival, the beers here, you had some good choices there. So thank you for having me in, February. It's a great month to kind of look back on the month that Rotary wants us to talk about world understanding and the programs that go along with it. So a little background on me and my involvement in Rotary. I went to high school in San Diego, California, and was invited to be a part of the RILA program. And so that was really exciting to me, a pivotal part of my high school experience, in that I got to be with other, kind of highly motivated kids in the leadership realm from different schools, right? You bust out of your own zone and you get to be really a lot more free in evaluating who you are and what you want out of life when you're in that environment. And so RILA was great. And then years went by where I didn't have any involvement in Rotary. And right after the Twin Towers fell, I was living in Washington, D.C. I worked kitty corner from the White House. I was really involved in national service initiatives, very tight. It was all very tied into the government. And for years and years, I had been saying I really wanted to pivot what I understood about the world into a different perspective, a perspective from outside of the United States. And my friend, who I was in the Peace Corps with after college, called me and he said, "Hey, I'm in a Rotary Club in Kansas City, and Rotary's launching this new scholarship, and we need people. And you're like the ideal candidate. You're always saying how you want to do these things. Why don't you apply for this fellowship?" And so I went to, I don't know, 8 Washington, D.C. Rotary clubs, called them, tried to talk to them. None of them had ever heard of the fellowship. It was pre-year 1, right? Like, so the fellowship really wasn't alive for a lot of people. And so none of them would sponsor a candidate because they didn't know what it was. And so I called my old RILA coach and I said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And he said, "Oh yeah, we know this and we have interviews in 5 days. So if you can be here and be a legitimate part of the interview process, we'll put you in, but you have 5 days to get your application." And the application had to be in 2 languages, like exceptional letters of recommendation, and I was in DC. It was in San Diego. I think my flight was $114 round trip because it was September 2001 and nobody was getting on a plane. So I flew out to DC or to San Diego, and the district actually ended up wanting to select 2 Peace Fellows. But at the time, Rotary districts could only nominate 1 Peace Fellow. So they called the district to the north of them and said, "Hey, can you sponsor one, and we'll sponsor one." And so 2 of us from that interview process ended up going to Buenos Aires, Argentina. At the time that I was entering the Peace Fellowship, there were 7 peace centers around the globe, year 1. So it was all brand new, 10 of us at each center. So 7 of us worldwide. In the time since then, it has changed dramatically. Rotary has really formed true partnerships with these universities. And so it's the university bringing their talent and their programs to bear. For example, one program was Berkeley. But if Berkeley decides not to do peace and conflict resolution in the same way, then Rotary is not going to be a part of that collaboration anymore either. And so over time, the universities have changed. I don't think the priorities have changed. Instead, what we have now is 5 master degree programs. Each takes 10 people a year. So concurrently, each university has 20 students on campus because you have the first and second year master's candidates. And then they've pivoted to having 2 certificate centers. So the first certificate center has been going on, I think we're on class 20 something, and there's 2 classes a year of 25 people each. Now the master's program, and if this is way too detailed, just wave at me and we can, move on to more specific questions. It's just kind of background information, but the master's degree, in order to join that program, to qualify for that program, you need to have 5 years work experience. And some pretty significant experience in the working world that says why a master's degree is really going to change your career path. So it's not just somebody coming right out of undergraduate and saying, well, the economy's not good, maybe I'll just keep studying for a little while, right? You're in there with a cohort of people who have done a lot of work. I was in my 30s, my early 30s. I was the 3rd youngest. So there was another woman in her 40s and there was a gentleman in his 50s. Both of the other 2 were professors, but in different fields. And they wanted to bring that peace and conflict resolution lens to their studies, to their academic rigor. Now the 2 certificate programs, the one in Chulalongkorn, Thailand, which is again 20 some classes in, and the second Makerere University in Uganda, which just opened since the pandemic. So they've never even had a first in-person class, but they've had their first cohort go through. They have 25 people each. And these 25 individuals are mid-career professionals. So while you have a mixed cohort in the 10 per university of, people of different ages, experiences, nationalities, they really try to limit it to one per region. So your class isn't going to be all North Americans or all Northern Europeans. You're going to get a good mix in your 10. And you have to speak the language. So of course I did my degree in Argentina in Spanish. I had a tutor. It was very helpful. So the certificate program is 25 people each, mid-career professionals, and super diverse, because in mid-career, you're plucking people from all over the world, not just the people who have the privilege. We get a little bit more privilege in the master's program, the privilege of being able to take 2 years off from your life. Maybe you're the one that supports your parents in Kenya. Maybe you're the one that, lives with your grandparents in Korea. Things like that are truly significant barriers to having a cohort in the master's program that really takes up in all economic strata. You have to have a bit of privilege to do it, although Rotary pays for absolutely everything. Airplane tickets, apartments, they really make it workable if you can take that pause from your life. But the mid-career professionals need to take 3 months off of work, and they're put in with 25 people. So sometimes you have people who have been working in human rights at a significant level, people who are well known in their fields, who really need that pause, that strategy, that chance to get feedback from other sources. And so our certificate programs are really flourishing. Jewel Longhorn, where we've had all the experience. And then, so that's obviously our Asia Center. We have Makerere in Africa. And then the idea is the next center to come online, there would be 4 centers total in the Rotary budget between now and 2030. And the next one will be probably Middle East and then Latin America. So they're working diligently on, forming the right partnerships for those centers now. So that's the Peace Fellowship in a nutshell. Can I ask if your club has ever sponsored a Peace Fellow? Nancy mentioned that one had spoken at your club, but your club has not interviewed or brought forward a Peace Fellow.
Correct.
Great. I'll talk a little bit about that. The applications are open now. They open every year in February. They're long. The applications are long. When I did it, I had to do it in 2 languages because I was going to a center with a second language. When I did it, it was 1 Peace Fellow per district. That's totally been blown up now. You can have as many Peace Fellows from your district as you want, and all of the candidates do not need to originate in your district. And so the number 1 country in the world to nominate Peace Fellows, Nigeria. Oftentimes we find by the way, I'm a Rotarian in District 5100 in Oregon. I've tried to join a Rotary club here in Belgium. I've only been here 1 month, but I don't speak Dutch well enough to attend online meetings. So I'm taking intensive Dutch with the idea that, maybe by summer when meetings are hopefully in person again, I could follow along well enough to make some friends and be involved in some community activities here. My Rotary Club is little, 10 people. We're in fact looking to perhaps join forces with another club. But the Rotary clubs in Portland, some of the big ones, the people, the over 100 clubs, they themselves will interview multiple candidates. And they won't all be from their district. So while they're forming relationships with their universities, the universities that are located in your Rotary district, maybe you find 2 or 3 key professors who've kind of followed their students. And you say, if you ever find somebody, a student that keeps in touch with you and they're just out there doing tremendous things, could you turn them on to this Rotary program? And you do the interview process at your club. I found it very useful to have the guidance of a club because I could get questions answered. And I think for all of us, we know that Rotary speak is hard sometimes, right? And so you don't have the relationships and you don't have the knowledge of certain procedures and forms. It's great to have a club because you as a Rotarian can always make a phone call on behalf of that candidate and figure it out. Your district then also has to endorse the candidate. So our district, District 5100, which is part of Oregon up into Southwest Washington, we have 81 clubs, I think, in our district, and we have about 10 applicants every year. Our applicants tend to be 6 or so from that can interview in person, and 4 that are people that Rotary International actually calls our district and says, can you, we've identified, Syrians, Yemenis, people who don't have access to clubs in their country at all, or somebody from Nigeria who doesn't have a relationship with a Rotary club. The power structures are quite different in other countries. And so sometimes it might be due to political issues or, whatever, gender nonconformity. There's all sorts of issues that would make a candidate uncertain if they could work with the Rotary Club where they're coming from, and would make them very comfortable to work with a club overseas who would help them understand the process and interview them now in the Zoom world. It's as easy as anything. Applications are due in May. So they open up in February. Rotary does a big blitz and tries to get people to share it. Can you share it on LinkedIn? Can you share it on your Facebook page? You never know somebody's a friend's son or daughter who really could be pivotal for them. It is such a significant scholarship precisely because of the Rotary lens. And that Rotary lens is you don't study in your own country, right? It's always something with ambassadorial scholarships, with youth exchange. It's something that Rotary's always understood. You need to see the world from another angle. So this scholarship, you have to do it outside of your country of origin. And we don't want you with a bunch of people who you already know how they think. We want you to be really challenged. As a North American, as a United States citizen going to Argentina with people from all over. We have Mexico, Kyrgyzstan, Norway, Czech Republic. My cohort was very diverse. And, immediately I was told, zip it. We could care less about your US perspective. You come with all your ego, you come with all your mindsets. And, I was there precisely to see that angle, but it took me some significant time to make headway, to maybe have a voice in my cohort. That's good for a North American, right? It's humbling to get to that point. And this was directly post 9/11. So, right, we all had all those questions of why did this happen, and what are we missing as North Americans by not listening more deeply to issues from a global perspective. So it's really unique to get to have this opportunity. And so your network is as good as any other Rotary network in identifying candidates. Nancy, I believe it was Nancy that mentioned that her daughter's friend from Belgium is in her network, right? And so we also all have those people through Rotary connections, through personal connections that your Facebook post just may make a difference to somebody. They apply through you, they apply through your district. In our case, our district committee handles everything. So clubs really don't have to be experts in this. What we do as a club is the friendliness of Rotary. We're real people. We have significant life experience. We welcome you. We want you to speak to us. That's a big part of being a Rotary Peace Fellow, is you'll do a lot of presentations to clubs when you're in your country of study, right? And so making sure you're vetting them during that process, right? Can this candidate who has 5 years work experience show up, relate, make that bridge of friendship, and that'll help them be successful in their fellowship. Then you're passing them on to your district, who really has the questions of, there's not that many people who are selected every year. 50 are selected for the certificate program and 50 are selected for the master's program. So 100 people come from thousands of applications, right? And so your district will have the questions that kind of help narrow it down. Like over time, our district has seen super strong candidate, or, hey, why don't you come back after a year? And we encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, but you're not really fully ready for this experience yet. And so the district can help Rotary International with their ranking. There's no, the funny thing that I always find is the Peace Center directors before COVID, I'm sure it was a terribly long Zoom call now, but they fly into Evanston and they have all of the applications out, and they do, from my understanding, a fair bit of horse trading. So like the guy from Kyrgyzstan, he did not apply to go to school in Argentina. He applied to go to school at Berkeley or Sciences Po or, somewhere else. But he spoke Spanish, and he spoke Spanish at a high level. And the country director is like, we have a lot of, we have Mexico, Chile, Uruguay, Brazil, like we're kind of forming this Southern cone in our cohort. We want that, right? Let's bring that in. And so they do that horse trading, and then they pick, but they don't interview the candidates at that level. The words they see, and I would say they probably don't even read the applications all the way through. They read the cover letter from your district committee or the cover letter from you. That's like, hey, this is why you should take a look at this person, right? Because that's what Rotary is. We're real people working with real people. And so we put this kind of hug on it, right? Of here's how it's done. It's the same thing with our global grants and all the other things we do, is that we really have real people on the ground asking questions. And I think that makes a difference. I'm at the 20-minute point, and I wanted to leave 10 for questions. And so maybe if we could start with that, I'd be happy to take it in any direction that you're interested in. Larry?
Here, I'll go, I guess. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
So Erin, what type of courses are included in the curriculum for, both the master's program and the certificate program?
The master's program is really your nuts and bolts theory. It's a lot less practice. In each university has a very distinct flavor. Bradford University is one of the top universities in Europe. It's based in the UK, and it is a very serious theory program. For me, I never took a second look at Bradford. I didn't want to go to school in English, and theory wasn't it for me. Latin American was peace and conflict in a regional viewpoint. So it was very tailored to my interest. I'd already served in the Peace Corps for 2 years in Ecuador. I'd worked in Guatemala, so I had this kind of interest in tying together how could I work in conflict in another place without really understanding it through this lens. The program in Queensland has a strong Asia Oceania focus. And so it's especially like the islanders, and like poverty is a huge theme in how to work in that region, poverty and equity. And so each master's program is pretty different. And I'll name them all just so you know them. The University of Queensland has the Oceania focus. Bradford has theory focus. Uppsala in Sweden is the newest master's program, and it is much more practical. So if you compare the two, it's more practical strategy, like you might go to the UN faster, probably, versus going into academia from Uppsala. And then you have Japan, which is the Christian University in Japan. And it's just a strong overall program. A generalist can go there. You can also take classes in Japanese, but you can do everything in English if need be, because they understand the difficulty of that language. And then the program in the United States is Duke / North Carolina, UNC, because both programs, and it's a fascinating one for people coming from overseas, because you can do a public health lens. Your core is peace and conflict studies. So your core curriculum is all together as a unit. And speaking of as a unit, you're not alone, the 10 of you. you're in a class. My class was 27, I think. So we had people from Brazil and Uruguay and Argentina who all were matriculated into this master's program with us. So that's the unique thing.
What I was getting at is, are there skills courses, how to have difficult conversations, mediation, those sorts of things?
Yes, there's courses. I mean, mediation is like straight in every curriculum. It's there, but some of the skills courses you're not just in a university, you're in what Rotary calls a peace center. And so that peace center is required to bring on those practical skill building courses. And my understanding is the Rotarians that live near these centers are quite involved in that, because it's quite an undertaking to say that, so let's say I'm in a class of 27, but my class of 10, on weekends, we went to seminars, we applied for conferences. We had all sorts of things that our Peace Center set up. And then the certificate program, very practical. It's pretty much all practical, right? Like it's your hands-on problem solving, case studies. They travel around the area where they're studying. So it's I think those 3 months are pretty intense and transformative.
Great, thank you.
And yeah, of course. And there was another, Larry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to how do you measure your degree of success or non-success?
So one of the reasons why we formed the Rotary Peace Fellow Alumni Association is because we are such a diverse group, right? We have diplomats at the highest level. I know that you've seen in the news that Aung San Suu Kyi in Myanmar was deposed. We have a Peace Fellow who is probably detained. We can't mention anything as Rotary because that could get them in further hot water. But there's people at the inner circles of a lot of governments now. I did my degree I finished my degree in 2004. So a lot of us have been at this for a while. But the people who work grassroots really, really wish to express to Rotary too, that their grassroots work is also succeeding. And it's harder to convey to a Rotary Club. I've been working on a treaty to globally ban violence against women and girls. We work with the UN. We work with high-level agencies. We're working with like presidents of countries. So it's pretty easy to see like, wow, that person used their degree, and the payback to Rotary and the globe is like that direct line. But people who are educating girls, people who are helping women in Nepal and menstruation huts that never get the headlines, that never get the funding, right? We also wanted, as an alumni association, to bring us together. So those of us that have an easier time getting global grants and being put on stage at a Rotary Club or whatever are more tied together as a unit with the over 1,000 of us who are all working in the fields. We had somebody in my class, the fellow from Norway was taken prisoner in Yemen. Like it's pretty cataclysmic to be an alumni member of our program. And so to be together is also very special. I don't know if that answered your question. If you'd like to rephrase it so I could get at it better, please do.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
I was wondering, so let me back up a second. Andy Esquivel is our Interact Club advisor, and he's also taken on the Rotary Youth Exchange along with Chris Cameron. They're working with our inbound and outbound kids. And he talks a lot about the fact that the Rotary Youth Exchange is a way to extend peace in the world because we get to know each other. So it sounds like your program is just the next level up in a more focused manner where you guys are out there really on the ground and working with countries to solve problems in a big way. We don't have an international project in our club. We are small and we're just trying to get through the projects we do have, but we have a local gentleman who is a physician who wants to bring skills to Uganda whereby they sew up wounds to prevent, gangrene and all kinds of horrible things down the road. But does the peace and conflict, does your group work with countries like that it's kind of a small way to build peace, but it makes people healthy. So I would think that would be.
It's terrific. It's a big way. I want to say both things, Rotary Youth Exchange, like as a platform for peace, I think the difference between it and Peace Fellows is first, they're so young, right? And so you've blown their mind forever. They will never be closed again. And they can take that into business or law or auto mechanics, right? They're not required to go into peace studies and to have that be their passion, but they've changed. They're utterly transformed, right? And so then down the road, you look at Peace Fellows or somebody who said, I'm doing this for my career. I really want to do this for my career. And all of us really understand the power of the Rotary Network. And so as an alumni association, one of the things that we hope we can do is say, oh, you want to do a project in Uganda? Here's 10 names of people in Uganda. It's going to resonate with somebody because of geographical region, tie to healthcare, whatever it is. But a Peace Fellow there then all of a sudden becomes a partner. It's not their work. They work at an NGO and you have your Rotary Club or whatever, but it's that idea that we can all build networks. How do we get each other to the right people? And I hope that Peace Fellows can be a part of that.
Wow. It's really huge.
Also, Erin, in a perfect world, how would you like to, if you were in charge of it and the whole worldly aspect of it, it sounds like a mini United Nations is what it sounds like, but what would you like to see done or have it constructed to make it more effective throughout the world?
Like globally, what is the number one?
Yes.
Yeah. For me, I work in violence against women. And the reason for that is I think that once we remove that barrier to women's participation, 1 in 3 women experience abuse in their life. And especially when that's coupled with poverty, they don't come out of that cycle. They cannot fully participate in their community. So then is there a wonder why we don't have more prime ministers, why we don't have more people in elected office? It's shocking in the United States how far behind we are in women's leadership, but we also do not have, marital rape is legal in quite a few states. So we're not that far ahead. And so for me, the issue that I think is gender equity and violence against women. If you can work towards gender equity, it has to be by removing that layer of violence and changing society and then getting more women into positions of leadership. And I think Rotary needs to do it too, right? My club looks just like yours. It's not as many women as we should have. And I think it's because of the way society is set up. The leadership track is so hard for a woman in Rotary because do you have the time, like at the time you have kids, to take on some of those leadership positions? And so I think the world needs to remove some of those barriers, including in Rotary, so that women can advance further, faster. Because again, it's not equality, it's equity. It's providing, filling in that gap that where the restrictions have been for so long. So that's why I work in that issue, but I can see it from my colleagues' perspectives, their issues too, right?
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
I connect you with my daughter, Erin. She's an officer in the Coast Guard, and she's in her master's program at the Eisenhower School in DC.
Oh, great.
And so she's almost 40, and her cohort is advising admirals and generals in the military why women are leaving the ranks from the enlisted and the people on the ground to the leadership. So this is a problem. And the gentlemen have finally said, I think one of them said, well, we're studying this. And she said, quit studying it and change it. So I'm really proud. So I should put you guys together because I think you would have a lot in common.
That would be great. I had an intern, a college intern back in a long, long time ago when I was living in DC, who is now runs the Women in Military nonprofit. She went to the one of the academies and spent her career. She went JAG. So
yeah,
Navy, right? Anyway, Lindsay would be a great connection. But that's the thing is we all need each other to bust through these barriers, right?
Yes, it's exciting. I think I'll follow up with you afterwards to get that woman's name.
Great.
Does anyone else have any questions for Erin before we let her go back to her beer? No? Well, Erin, thank you so much. And to thank you, and I mean, sorry I can't bring you a bottle of Racer 5, but we will be making a donation in your name to Polio Plus.
Great.
It's a way to thank you for coming and talking to us about the peace and conflict resolution, how we do it in Rotary.
And, now that we're connected, anytime if your club ever has if you get a live one for the Peace Fellowship, you feel free to tag me and have me help guide you through the process because I do think it's a really fun part of a Rotary Club experience. If every few years, even you find a candidate and work with them, it's a neat way to tie into the program.
Yeah, in fact, with our upcoming district assembly, I might mention that to our district president. I think that's what he's called, to just see if that is going on in our district, because it would be fun to know that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you and Happy New Year and keep up the good work.
Happy Super Bowl.
Yay. I want to just get in a pool because who cares who wins actually, I think I do want the Chiefs to win. So give that young man a shot. So to beat Brady. So
just because he's cute, come on.
He's cute. He's young. Anyway.
Thank you, Erin.
All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Next week, Yavuz Adala from the SRAG group will be our guest speaker. And so hopefully you all join us. That is a pre-Valentine's meeting, everybody. So bring your good Valentine thoughts and maybe we'll have more surprises for that meeting. So with that, I will officially close the meeting and thank you for indulging my weirdness. And for anybody who wants to stick around and talk about the Pollinator Project, please do so. Meeting ended.